Hey YouTube, welcome back to another short little video. Just a little bit of an update. First of all, you want a lesson with me, and we can work on all sorts of things like bass trombone or tenor trombone or euphonium. Hit me up at the link below, and then I'll send you an email. So check your emails after you send something in, so I can respond and we can form a rapport and we can do the lesson thing. It's really fun, I promise. I have some really great students right now. Good stuff's happening, and I would love to have more. So let's talk about, real quick, just an update. I haven't made any videos lately because I've just had my head down, just practicing my butt off. And so there's not that much interesting to talk about, but there are some equipment things and some upcoming equipment things that I think will actually be really fun. So real quick, I did get a new, I actually think I have like 2 or 3 new bass trombone mouthpieces since I talked to you guys last. Let's talk about one of them here. The Holton 1.5G. I'm not sure when exactly this was made because the Holton 169 came with a different mouthpiece that didn't use the 1.5 sizing convention. So I don't know what came with the 185, which is what this is. But this is roughly right. I really have no idea. Maybe this came with a Holton 181. Who knows? Anyway, it's a Holton mouthpiece. It's a Holton trombone, and it actually plays and sounds really good. It's just too small for me, but I like having it. And if I sell this someday, I'll probably include the 1.5 in there. And I think that's it, right? Other than this, of course, I have a Lasky 90D. I have 4 other Laskys, all of them larger, and I've actually really come to enjoy a certain 93D that I have. I really like the 95. It's just massive, and I can't really play it. I just keep it because it's fun. This, though, is the same rim size as my Greg Black 1Gs, just shallower, different design in a few ways, and it really seems to match the kind of vintage vibe of this a lot better than my other really big mouthpieces. Of course, these are designed with kind of like a 1.5 size in mind, and the really big stuff sometimes works and works pretty well, but this just works a little better. And I'm really enjoying it. Fits my face a little better than the 93s and 95, and just, yeah, cool mouthpiece. I've just been playing it on this and the Hog, which I still have, and it seems to work on both. Keep using it for now, we'll see what happens. I'm not too worried about finding like the perfect mouthpiece right now on bass because I'm not playing that much other than practice. So once I go out in the real world, I'll be like, oh, this is awful, and I'll switch to something that's better. Until then, I'm going to keep using it. Also, large tenor. Had a couple experiences with this in quartets. Not at home, but in quartets, where the horn just kept biting me, man. I took this out with my Corporation 3G and just destroyed my face. It was too small, and I couldn't dial things in to get good articulations, soft playing, that kind of stuff. I was like, okay, I've tried this mouthpiece for a long time. It's too small. So I sidelined it, started using my Ultimate Brass SMP, and then played another quartet and destroyed myself again. It's a little larger than the 3G, but just not quite big enough. I would lose flexibility. I couldn't get from register to register, and I was just like, come on, really? It just didn't match. It was not right. And so I got lucky, and a guy I know put this up on Facebook, a Griego Alessi 1C. This is the same mouthpiece that Alessi himself used or uses for a long time. I don't know if he uses this size now. I think he might use the shallower one, the 1B, I think. Anyway, this was his workhorse for a really long time on his Edwards, and I dig it. I've had it for exactly a day, and it really seems to have solved a lot of my problems. It doesn't have really the giant kind of comfy rim that I remember the Greg Black Alessis having that don't really work with my face. This is still pretty wide, but there's a bit more bite to it than those. And it's not too deep, it's not too shallow. The throat is actually not necessarily, it's not really huge. And I think that matches this a little better. I can get a better articulation. When I get to sit on a note for a while, the sound really has a cool color to it. I'm happy with it for now. The horn itself, I don't know, sometimes I really like it, sometimes I don't. It just seems to kind of like the valve is slow. The slide slows down. The low range doesn't feel good. The high range is out of tune. Just little things will crop up and I'm like, wow. And ideally, I'll have a large tenor at some point that doesn't have foibles. It just works, because that's all I really want in a large tenor. The bassland, I can deal with foibles because I played a lot. Large tenor, like, I practice a lot, but I don't want to have to go every time I get it out. So for now, it's doing the job. But in the future, let's talk about that. One, I have another bass trombone on the way that I bought for very cheap. Hopefully here the next week or so, and I'll definitely make a video about that. But it's gonna be interesting. And it might even be silver plated. It'll be like my 4th silver plated trombone. I don't know how I keep ending up with these things. I don't particularly like them or anything. They keep falling into my hands. And then I have my main bass trombone. It's gonna have Olsen axials and like a copper tuning slide and both of my Bach Corporation bells. Still being built. Should be done here in like a few weeks. Fingers crossed. Really excited for that. It's been so long that I've kind of lost the enthusiasm for it, because I've gone through like 5 different horns in that time. But I have a feeling it's probably going to be like the best trombone that I've ever owned. And I'm excited for that. It's hard to get like really enthused just because it's been so long. And then my Bach 36K is going to be like this monster trombone. It's going to be so cool. So started out as a Bach 36 straight, I think, Corporation instrument, right? And it was probably pretty good. And then for some reason, at some point, someone was like, this needs a valve. And so they put on a K valve from another 36. So they like ruined, took the valve off of a 36K and put it on a Corporation 36. Not sure why that happened, all right? Don't ask me. That was way before I got it. And so I bought it, and I was like, this has some real potential. It plays pretty well, but it's uncomfortable because the slide is narrow, the valve is like right in your neck. And the valve didn't play super great. Overall, had potential. And so I had Ben, my tech, widen the slide, put on a Shire's crook that's still the same size, but wider. Great. It's better now. It's not perfect, so I had him work on the valve, and also he's just like, hey, why don't we make it modular? So now it's going to be modular, so you can take off the bell and put on different bells. And he's going to make it artisan spacing, so I can put on artisan 42 bells and stuff, because of course those all fit 36s, the same size. And then he's like, or I got lucky and I found a Bach 36 gooseneck, just out of nowhere, really cheap. So it's going to have a straight neck pipe as well. So it's going to be able to swap out valve section to straight gooseneck. And then he found a Bach 42G star, trying to make an asterisk with my fingers, bell, which is the Friedman light gold brass bell. Not the usual 42G bell, which is a little bit heavier than the usual yellow. This is kind of the same weight as the yellow, but it's made out of gold brass. 8.5 inches, of course. And he's going to have that mounted as well. So it's going to have 2 different bells, Corporation 36 yellow and a 42G star. It's going to have 2 different valve sets. It's going to have a K valve, which he is working on making better, and straight gooseneck. And it's going to have 2 different slides, because it's going to have a large connector. I can hook up a Bach 36 slide, a wide one, or a 42 slide, or a bass slide. Not that I would ever do that. But it's going to have like a jillion different combinations. I can have like a 525 straight gold brass tenor, or I can have a large bore K valve 36. I mean, I can do so many different things with it. So really excited about that. That's why I'm not too worried about the 88H not being super great, because I think I'm going to have a really cool horn in the future. And that's about it. And once those things get finished, you'll see videos about them. Don't worry. And I'll see you guys next time.